Universal Children's Day is a celebration of childhood, but for too many children, it's also a stark reminder of the dangers they face. In today's context, childhood has never been more complex. A recent study reveals that 95% of abuse cases involve someone whom the child knows, a heartbreaking truth that demands action. Today on Kaleidoscope, we speak with mental health specialist and manager of Leeds Child Protection, Dehiwala, Nevedita Jeevabalan, who is also a psychologist at the National Council for Mental Health. On a day dedicated to children, what is the most urgent message we need to hear about their safety and their well-being for Sri Lankan children?
During this time, the most important things that what I would like to say is prevent children from any harm or abuse.
So, recent statistics indicate that 94.5% of child abuse cases are actually involving someone who is familiar to them. So, what does this reveal about the current risk that children face in Sri Lanka today?
We always think as adults, and it's a myth, is like we think things happen, harm happens from a stranger. But the truth is, for so many years being in this field, is the children who have come and met us for counseling is always the child knew this person. So that is an alarming thing. So where the family and the society now really needs to take this serious, and we also need to teach our kids how they need to protect themselves, and not like parents can't always be with them, always traveling with them, protecting them. Now sometimes that is going to that extreme, but what we need to do is we need to teach, and we need to have a proper system in country. As adults, we need to be able to accept there are bad things happen to children, so we need to work together as a community.
So, what are the most effective ways to equip children to recognize and respond to unsafe situations?
From the beginning, when they are very small itself, even toddlers, we need to start talking to them about their safety, and also to teach the kids about their body parts and name them very comfortably. These are some of the things we don't do culturally, so that the children will know and open to be having conversation. Also, we teach them from very small age, I will say even 2 to 3 years, with their own toys or dolls they have, to say that some of their parts of the body needs to be untouched or be touched by the people who are very safe. And who are these people? So having those conversations from the beginning, the child will also know these are the people they are safe with, and if something happens also, they will be more comfortable to come and talk to the people. And also we can identify adults within the conversations and say who are the safe people you could have. So the child knows, okay, if the mother is not available, who is the next person, who is the next. So these things should be normal conversations within the family.
You mentioned culturally,
Yes.
and you mentioned that schools need to take the lead also in this. Is this being addressed in schools?
It is addressed, not in the national level. I will say at this point is more individual decisions of schools. Some of the schools are more actively being involved and they are proactively doing things, but some schools are still they are very reluctant to start these conversations. And sometimes where sad situation is like, if something happens also, the first thing is school also says we prefer the child doesn't come. Can you find another school? Other parents don't want the child to come in. So these are some of the negative impacts the children are facing.
So, beyond the preventive action that you mentioned, how do you support children who have survived abuse?
So Leeds has been doing this type of services for the last 25 plus years. One of the things, we have some professionals who will be working with the child. They are all trained in trauma-informed counseling, and we support the child and the family members. Also, we have our legal team, so we also to support the legal work going with this. So initially it will be more the counseling, one-to-one counseling, and getting the child building back to the normalcy. So I will say it will be building their resilience to face the day-to-day activities what they have been doing. But most of the time the observation is more than the child able to come back, the society doesn't allow that to happen. They are more, or the families are very reluctant to talk about it. They keep the child in a corner, and the legal process again is one of the saddest things, is it's prolonged. So things don't move hand in hand. The child is ready to move, but then again and again the memories has to be called back every time when they go into the court. So that trauma keeps continuing, and unfortunately, averagely it takes around 10 years now for the child to finish the case.
How would somebody recognize a child who is being abused?
If someone knows the child, for example, we'll take a teacher, and this child has been in the class in a normal way, very talkative, very comes in forward, present things, and very friendly, but suddenly if they see a behavioral change, or a child who has been very quiet but suddenly being very disruptive in class, so the behavior change is something very important we need to identify, but it can be for many other reasons also. So just because something like that is happening, we can't jump to conclusion, but it's always good for the adult to be open for conversation. How are things, what is happening? So children need people. Most of the time we know children try to tell us, but adults are not ready to listen to something. If there is a behavioral change, take a note, spend more time, talk to the children, listen to them more. That will give us an indication.
So, what gaps currently exist in national policy on child protection?
In Sri Lanka, we have laws, good laws are there, but when it comes to the coordination between the state and the other organization, there are gaps. There are procedural gaps. Also, there are gaps when you have to really, there can be gaps on funding, there are gaps on manpower, there are gaps in knowledge, and certain positions are overworked, overloaded, and then they are not able to do what they need to do. So sometimes when you go into the interior parts of Sri Lanka, these cases are very high. If I say Monaragala or Trincomalee, so there will be only few government staff, but their caseloads are very high, but they also have very limited resources to go and do a home visit, give a report. So these also delays the processes in the legal system.
As a priority, what should be implemented first, and to make sure this kind of works?
We need to be ready to accept that these things exist, this problem exists. Sometimes still there is a denial that these problems exist in our country. And this is not happening by anyone outside, it's happening to children by people who they know. So we need to be able to talk to the children. We need to be ready to have these open conversations. That's something first. We don't have a proper psychosocial support for the survivors. So some of the time these cases happen, and when they are children, it doesn't really have any impact. They just go on. But when they are coming into teenagers, all these behavioral issues, when they understand what they happen, it's the time things are coming out. Then there is not enough resources within the system to support the children. From police to the legal to the medical care should able to understand about the trauma-informed effects and how to deal with the children, how to speak to them, how to respond to them, and also culturally sometimes still there is a stigma, still there is a blame on the victim.
Kaleidoscope is on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Do subscribe, follow, and like us for more.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Silicon Life.